let's delve much into the budget. 2025 media budget review vis-a-vis minority workout. Minority no more reason here. Woman say abo omunkrofo and Africa galamsey enunti on the side abani be address those issues no they are not going back to parliament and so munti ekura me ba joyen ko
Alaska the Net2 2.3
Alan
Asama mayor.
That's right.
Yeah, I think Enra may I had opportunity to witness their course of our parliament, and for some reasons the whole thing delayed because my will be said run so a commemoration way for President Mills.
That's right, the 13th year, yes, right?
Oh, yeah, 13 years in 2012. That day that is very fresh on my memory, and I think that 13 years on. There is a lot to remember about Professor Mills so far as in the leadership, the legacy, and the kind of impact he'll make here. Some of these young guys you see in the NDC today, most of them were given the opportunity by Professor Mills. And now opportunity now they need to also involve young people and give them that particular way, and they're not wara Alaska, I think Enra answer na budget in because no MPP for STG a walkout from parliament.
That's right.
Elmaka, your democracy no obia to me we are dissatisfied with the way manner things are being done. You can employ some of these legitimate constitutional tools to register
which
your
is
protest.
within the law.
To register your protest in as for no man for a hundi ekoso. But we see politics are advanced here to a point whatever room be will be able to be used. You must also be thinking at the other side now who's you are doing this for a very resound reasons so that people will not get to the other side of it. And I have reasons that MPP for must say, oh, yakotwa basa yesi and you know that alone no enough for more boycott your friend saying media budget review. And some other funny reasons that are given around Ikowe. But the good question is yes, Adena AC ewo abelekumanov no. We have sat here and unreservedly condemned in no uncertain terms. Your Fred government say he should do everything to ensure that the perpetrators of this embarrassing sin
are brought to book.
Endra, a day before yesterday, the IGP and then as for the statement by Bonte and said so far. They've identified 2 individuals who Mugusu Amoya investigation. It means in as much as the situation appeared highly embarrassing because where we are now, the free say yakwaye nim na saade we yesino something is being done unlike in the past. Because these jokers who left parliament yesterday, who were supposed to sit in parliament and represent their constituents, are the same people who a few months ago in government and they supervise over Ayawaso. They supervise over Techima and Techima, Yakunipa.
That's right.
Military people were clad a police force uniform and a more bonipa to or more reason they say a man for a 2 bromo. Now more dama obi to boaba the 2 as a security officer. But they did this thing. Some of these jokers you saw yesterday staging press conference and as if nobody had a decency to call on one government to say that's
right.
So there is the need for us to do proper inquisition to know who and who are involved. Alaska, 4 years I've seen Kwame Agyarko Obama Akufo Addo. These jokers, none of them was sensible enough to know say Nipa life was online. And Obiko Tuaba and America said me and these MPP I condemn both on no uncertain terms. But I say he who comes into equity must come with clean hands. You were there. None other election I acquire. Do you know any powerful for saying we will chroma say?
2024 yeah.
People were assaulted, people were killed. None of these jokers and Timinia Kukodroka say or more petition Akufo Addo because they were minority, a majority in parliament on investigating. And the what Tenasa way so a few months after. Yes, there is this thing is embarrassing. Something is being done. Our investigation there, so now there are no yet rubber stamp opportunity for you. Say, maintain a minty make the petition. And I was so much disappointed in the presidency for entertaining those nonsense. Yes, a democracy will be here, but you see, At the end of parliament, and they were supposed to sit there and listen.
That's right.
All things being equal, the budget was supposed to be read by the president too. Are you aware?
Sure.
The constitution places the mandate right at the chest of the president. But president ain't minyanti.
And our mandate was delegate you.
So the finance minister can say, I am here on behalf of the president. Because of president's busy schedule, you know, and in uncle read the budget. Ideally, the president is supposed to be the one to read the budget. And it's a president, you know, supposed to be there now. You don't go back to the president and say the petition come out because all things being equal, the chief of staff, everybody was supposed to be in parliament. What I said, it makes sense.
That's right.
So entertaining them to accept that particular petition, for me, I disagree with them. You tell them to go and sit down and meet you in parliament. Because that doesn't make sense. Because the MPP as a political party have decided, say, we've lost the elections. But so anything be able to make sure say the country become ungovernable. That's exactly what they are doing. Yesterday, these jokers had their own country to be moving from one embassy to embassy. Now, right. Ambassadors know when all this nonsense were happening in this country. Ambassadors, no, and you run a ship from free China by you. They've all been here. They say, Omukra intelligence or more about this country, no, or mine in the fact.
Exactly.
So they've lived it. They are privy, they've experienced it, they knew what happened. So, Ebasana, woman, who's a one casa, win serious. Exactly. So, in the manner no more sought to take away some credibility and shine from the whole budget.
That's right.
But, I'm fat because the gentleman had something outstanding to share with the people of this country, which is the budget. So, for me, I think the MPP for better advisor, sa crop of leadership, your money no in this current political dispensation, they've all outlived their usefulness. And Fasobi and Yomoso, they are all garbage. Oh, they should just flush them through the toilet. Faso and Yomoso. Because it's just a grandstanding, arrogant kind of posture. And they emphasize any man in your politics. Sa slogan in your politics. And now to force him, why you want them. And if you check the mass, it picks. Never. I pick it. And then I had your politics. Me imagine how my enemy go school, I call Harvard. Now who cares about Papa see Harvard? Who cares? Papa see Harvard for me home. I don't care where you school. It is about me no intellectually unless it display who and who they intelligent. It's not about baby I'll acquire as a forum. When we gave you the job, you failed. There is absolutely nothing to show for. So this is the time for you to sit down and listen. Because they own us a duty to also, as some finance minister Bakayano, to sit down, you also scrutinize. Question be our one ounce what bisa. A balanced perspective. But these jokers left the place just gallivanting the streets of Accra. Say, yeah, the petition you come. What the petition you come behind? When the very things you are accusing the government, some investigations are ongoing. Yes, we've all condemned it. I mean, even the government itself has even condemned it.
And even Interior Minister are directing.
Yes, because some of this we cannot. You cannot sit here and say, "Oh, maybe I support to end this." Yeah, it's absolutely
according to the IGP. So those people have been picked.
Exactly. So something is being done. So we are minority. This is not the time to be doing this kind of and just childish, infantile. Antiquated politics. No, you can't sway people's emotion. Alaska, and for me, that is the most important. Now, okay, I can also understand why they didn't want to sit and listen to the budget.
What is the reason?
Alaska, are you aware? Say IMF. Yeah, IMF my iska.
That's right.
IMF sika no one my boom. Omo in trenches. And nan one day to abawie and the third trench a better a buyer.
That's right.
Sikan had Bank of Ghana account on the 1st of January. On the 1st of January. A buying sound have been transition happened on the 6th.
On the 6th.
On the 6th. Alaska, are you aware, sir? From 1st to 6th, not 4.1 million IMF the two Bank of Ghana account no more dini nyina wiansa na moko.
What are we sitting down for? So do we need to practice democracy?
Alaska,
that's right.
Are you aware?
Within that 5 days.
I say 5 days. MPP 4 days. 5 days. Eddie 4.1 million IMF. Into the account. They didn't want to leave a kobo in the Bank of Ghana. Sasikano, everything. So Ato Forson didn't go take over. No, everything. There was no trace, nothing.
So Amunya hint to this and Asade no will come out.
And it will definitely come out.
That's right.
They are there or they are not there.
That's right.
So Alaska. Nearman Krofo, unless you are not smart.
Oh, exactly.
Unless unti politics are say. And over the years, you see there is this false equivalence. NDC MPP. Normally, people think say metal koha. Your friend is the whole thing, no, who's a so. But you see, baby, you do know it is about debating the fact. Idea I tilt towards the good of mankind and the people of this country. Me, that's my ultimate priority. And it was a jandam, the same class politics, and I buy a nice animano, MPK, and fat. Nobody will pay attention to you. And no budget in Alaska. There are
when and now can TT.
Of January to 6th of January, the IMF disbursement of 4.5 billion was spent before the Mahamadu administration took office just in 6 days. Mr. Speaker, project loan of January to 6th of January, the IMF disbursement of 4.5 billion was spent before the Mahamadu administration took office just in 6 days.
4.5 billion.
No, in cities.
That's right.
Yes, in Ghana cities. Because IMF disbursed $332 million. The exchange way in Ghana cities. Yes. So, omu dini nyina sana omoko. Omu fan for my because I am IMF.
Hey!
At the same time, IMF say, your friend saying, who say a frame no amount.
That's right.
You need to walk the line. I must say you're deviating from just a Niamano what the man they just said that you need to crown the scanner no mujidi. Yes. Or just Kennedy. So IMF be part of back. Now the scanner man say had the economy ni kwa na we dey je. Omudi ni nyina san. When the says this we 4.5 billion Ghana cedis. Ansa na moko.
Hey! Trillions.
Na unim sa wan fa jomo S gracia ansa na moko. O dan sambo baba o. Aban atutia no S gracia ansa na free power.
Anu atua no S gracia ansa no.
Say the days are coming. Obetin sem and now you're too early to be delving into those things. Let's talk about the budget. Alaska. Enti the fact of the matter is Ghana near Ottawa all had the econo. In the space of 6 months. Kwan ben na nema faso asesa. Na mabrabo aleseme. And obia we are very objective bia tenasena wo hese in the last 6 years we hear proper economic analysis. You know say there are signs actually say and nema nyam fa nwie ye de but there are hope e back on somewhere say your cost na ye nema ya once again hope will return to town. Say say am no ka say so how your debt to your GDP your debt to your GDP I'll reduce what IMF projections say in the next 9 years, that is it 2040? There are 2035.
35.
And no more expected say Ghana your debt to your GDP will drop to 45%.
Exactly. 6
months debt to GDP or more expected ever happen in the next 9 years. You know, happen within 6 months, and your debt to your GDP is 43%. IMF say your debt to your GDP no. Mama ya 10 years because mo hwekwan na minus economy be Akufo Addo nam na. Mama ya the next 10 years say
ansana your
debt to your GDP will drop to 45. Within 6 months, Ghana debt to your GDP is now around 43.
Ato FM 92.
And then Ramete very funny discussion be across baby so debt restructuring no mo kokoye no debt restructuring no mo kokoye Alaska. Debt restructuring no mo ye no. Repayment no next year 2026 yetua. The following 2027 yetua 40 million. The following way yetua 43 million. Etwa so sa and again sa bosia no boy no in the first place na nyansa bi anim so mo those bosia metena ha ka kire wo.
That's right.
Ko bosia no mo no they were just amokobo bosia so mo de be road. Over about 400 million. E no mutia 100 million e ma contract and sika na kan be si no hwehwa wu.
Omedi
and the road no da ho. I think that President Mahamadu the big push agenda na wa fasa budget na o shame. Omo baba ya.
Ebi su krabo or contract and the same certificate ometua no double.
Yeah, that is
Alaska me betena have a catch say Ghana cedi in April was the best performing currency in the whole of the world.
Exactly.
Because I said the cedi no ne dollar ne city na. When you stabilize your dollar and as a currency now because most of yesika no dodo na no e de amanfo ka wa bonten and it is priced in dollars. And then when abra cedi no reduce na dollar no cost no e bia medoka $10,000. Say dollar no to me e depreciate e conforma $5,000 no in Ghana terms no it me qua over better 5.
Exactly.
Now okay kwa animu. And which means say on the reverse no so which me ya na say cedi no appreciate ya o kate dollars no bebre tugu. And the say no ka say bosia na first number ten aka che say Ghana ya kai 700 and something and that's asika no over better 120 billion afri so.
That's right.
So I don't explain why the debt to GDP has slashed down. So some of these things are not obi creations. So there is a reason why everything is happening. And again, your friend is saying, so we have a buying initiative back when no more so yeah, me free say in the long term. Has to do with the pricing in dollars. Matana culture say your foreign in some you can sometimes they listen.
Oh, sir.
Culture say your foreign exchange we no regime no we need to retool the laws and make sure say even making it very effective. They say Aban say henceforth every single government contract to be a moment biano will be valued in cedi terms.
That's
no more dollars.
Source no baby scanning feedback.
Yes, it's in dollars. Because when you price in dollars, now say there is fluctuation in the sikana. Obe na a car with a bru yeah but whenever it is in Ghana cedis, now say with me yana usikani nya hodia akana so temau. So it is always proper to own a significant portion of your debt, in your local currency. Anything I'll call some of the countries like Nigeria, do you know what they do? Or more capping or more foreign borrowing. You can't go beyond 30%.
Okay.
So Nigeria, foreign, your friend saying borrowing, they are capping it to 30. Internally, 70. Because if so born internally now, it's easy to pay. But Okobab one thing, what the China can with the wake up euro bond and as a form. The very moment you see your currency drops, we see cano costro. And this our bottle do now from Omainuma. And then in Casamria City, cost in $1 kakra to meet your canning.
That's right.
Sanity, and say Abanse henceforth. All contracting as a phone and it should be a standard to hotels and other entities in as a phone.
Schools in others.
Yes, and over the week, Professor Gyamfi, some very, very important will be on a shipping way. I think people were complaining, say, shipping lines, Obia or the dollar rate order them. And it depended on baby Abukakofa and move Ghana for no fast. So when people complain, I think the discussion were held that I know the day the Bank of Ghana issued directive say all the shipping lines should publish their ratings on daily basis.
That's right.
And must make sure that it reflects it with the Bank of Ghana one.
Rates.
Sabaya affected prices any business in as for them. So the shipping authority line, I think these are some of the significant things I happen on that particular line. One of the important things that are buying air and Alaska. So the way a manner things are play out in this whole budget. Clearly you see that the signs are quite obvious. Because Menobatina has a Nipa da sani tina Bank of Ghana bon kwasi abosia sika Addison atene Bank of Ghana into a printing press or that's all na yiri nyana na hey me ko sika no akowura ho na omu sika to the extent say we na inflation rise to over 54%.
Inflation.
Yes, inflation got to 54% in this country under these jokers who left parliament yesterday. Inflation, Ato Forson said, I'm saying 13.
13 credit hardship.
These are jokers. These Akufo Addo and his toy ministers.
His what?
Toy ministers took the inflation numbers, to 54%. 6 months. The inflation number, and I'm 13. Now, when you buy for, why will you say you are against this thing? And you buy because the IMF expect to say. And there will be a drastic or downward reduction in inflation number, but right. Nobody expected it to be this quick.
From that 54 to 13.
54 to 13 in a period of 6 months. And yeah, easy.
What they were saying is also we around 28, so in a period of 6 months, he had about 13%, and they were quoting 28 as at the time they were leaving office.
Alaska. 28. I'm saying, say we printed money to a pointer. It could do 58. Yes, yeah, last year by the time they were exiting, it was around 28 thereabout.
That's right.
But it doesn't change the fact that now it is 13%.
13%, yeah.
And say you're careful, you're very careful. For the first time, we are going to hit a single-digit inflation number. Professor Mills, the man for almost 12 months.
Right.
In the history of this country in recent times, they've been seen that. So who are the best managers of the economy? And yet, these guys don't talk. Ato Forson, apart from so-called read the budget, what is all Kasao, baby?
No, you don't even know the economic management team.
In Nigeria, I'm call school, I'm call Harvard, I'm call Yale. Who cares about those nonsense? It is about the intellectual acumen you've been able to acquire and how you are solving society's problem. That is all that we are interested in. We don't care where you are coming from, or where you belong to, or whatever association you have. Fix the problems and shut up. That is the only thing.
You fix the problem
and you shut up.
One of reforms about when you go to port. I was would charge it by Bank of Ghana rates.
That is it.
And Alaska, are you aware, sir? First, I will car Bawumia Campaign. And a friend of mine came to me and I'm gonna have a discussion. Or your importer or no so cars and as a phone. Or say car first a utia over beer 80,000 Ghana cedis and sana would and 80,000 Ghana cedis 800 million sana way say okwa is around 600,000 and no expectations that some of the taxes in the president will take them out from the more. So it's not as if nothing is happening. These are some of the things I want to share with people. You see, over the years, we've been criticizing government. We've been at the back of government. We are not naysayers. We want things to be done right. So if there are signs that show that something good is happening, we need to highlight it and urge people the same way Ejigua.
That's right.
What I say, because we don't have, there are no permanent friends. So it is about doing good. We part you at the back. We are now Sena Yabaka. And that is so now is the time. Nipano yeno. Why can't we say it's good? You understand? Because me motivation is sorry. Not the average and the ordinary Ghanaian. And I'll be telling them, say, one of the major things affecting young people in this country has to do with this rent thing. So for me, one problem I will solve millions of problems for young people in Accra, Alaska. Among forces, yes, or man almost see or more dying. But when you are renting a room out, you are engaging in a transactional activity, which is business.
Exactly.
It must attract taxes. People sit somewhere and no other sort of team can amatome just because there are no laws regulating any of these things. Obviously, there was a major 3 years advance. Yes, even Ivory Coast. Now the dime will be rent. Now just 4 months. We go jail. Ivory Coast, Ivory Coast. I'm telling you, we taking more than 3 months advance. Rent advance for mobile, you go to prison. Why can't we do the same thing here? Because I say young people no more suffer because obi betimi here dan no kra wo dem no nya ho hwe okoda sori akokwe nsansan na oba na waso watum obi di kokwe nsan na esan oba waso watum oba ka kire say e fa ne say wontu a wontrema but young people do not say anything. So it is the responsibility of government to come to the aid of these people and with proper laws. I bet me regulate some of these things. Sabaya, young people and you market one or more, they can be able to at least pay for their accommodation in this manner. Now let's go over to Susua, there could be 100 million. Now Okoda for Manako. No 100 million and pank out dino cohan and pank she no I dine kake yempenti ye mufino and then I 100 million no and so I say kopesika puduasia be krakuram. This is why we vote for government to weave laws to do these things. Oh yeah, nipa hobatono because governance is all about buying relief for people. Exactly. So if you can't do these things after so be a new so you understand? Relief. Yes, for people. And now me see that here kremu osegleme masa ube su.
Bibia say. Ha! Omo repair everything off.
Yes, and these jokers today are running to embassies telling them, say, Obim Kongo, we sagle me dino. Massa, Abubu say, yes, that is why they were bent on selling it out to a private developer.
Challenge me see Ube soon.
Yes. So
and that is why I'm urging John Mahama to be very radical
in
dealing with this criminal, because if he doesn't jail these people and also prosecute these people, the goodwill is going to be a short lived. I'm telling you. That's a Ghana for 10 years against you.
You can't stand
So or anything be able to do, he should turn attention to some of these things, because criminal negligence alone can take you to jail. Chachu Chikata and Kobobosia. So the Baba oil exploration. When this can
also willfully causing financial loss to the state, because when you use Sikano for and to me and self for that purpose.
Yes.
And at the time, I think that is misappropriation, right?
No, he also willfully causing financial loss to the state. Willfully. Akwa this kind of say no.
And omo dey near foolishly.
Na se Chachu ko prison for willfully. We num dey foolishly no say kan wo tia no papa na ni wo di na semia na papa ni so. Because you see Nema nkofo ya no kroma no. So saglemedan na Mahama ye no. Omo air condition wo dan no.
Oh,
omo ebi wo the TV bubom. Say o ko dadan no ma ko ya watade nkwa na ba.
That how the be call.
TV enkonwa bibia wom.
Everything.
Are you ready? And now ko ha ni nyina say.
O me via ni nyina.
The reason is say mo ka say mbesi dan 5000 ya kwa de si onuru 500. Na wa bodam 500 man nipa nkwatrem na mu ni di aka ho. Like people who build the dino Collins Dauda and Co, they are still in Ghana. And to let people occupy the room and then deal with them. Me, that was the argument I'm making. You don't allow the building to and say
because they pay way for their people to go in for those.
The same thing happened at Kumasi Afari Hospital, Alaska. It got to a point now Otum for SSS because of Fanquay Confano 2.3. Now I bind to Prekasa no, but you only vote to free Kumasi.
Tie Obia sending message with regards to Africos or see Africos. Tisana kaya no kwena mrane se obi tiganim no susu se honu kwa nyama no otumi tu o tu no now o de ni balance man.
Yeah.
Anu no ka just say me high asana me the balance. In Africa unye tu ye na Africa say ya o.
Yes.
I remember to proceed.
Yes. So Ghana na agro ya dwimu to be very honest. Nipa nya tumi na o your friend na bona your friends o koba na we did na chi some common sense eh ade ayira. Because these are the basic things that you must address. And I'm telling you, this rent issues, so we are buying us a with me solve once and for all. Trust me, you win the love of young people for a very long time. Because because averagely, young people from where you are Ghana, do you pay 1,500, 1,000, 1,008, 1,500, 1,000. Now you will be 1,500. You also owe me to rent 100 million, 80 million. Na da wabodam na aban no so to odori yo nyanyansa nya de bia mfa ho
aban no to odan
nya jogoti because you have not provided your friends rent your friends housing your friends accommodation for amount from bear rent
oh man incentive via
until you should be able to regulate, and for me is even going to create another job opportunity because this rent control say a resource na you make sure say every single room will be the man behind bia will be registered and it will be on a portal. So you don't deal with fiura. There is a system that is registered on, so you go on the portal, look at where you want to rent you pick a room from the app and then from the database you pay through the database. Then the fiura na budget the commission through rent control. And to if you are when if you are nisikasem.
Okay.
O time so na want to mean to rent control now will kick you out.
And that is it.
And then another person what does na make
and you just go there for your money.
For your money. You have nothing to do with the fiura na ba kan kire say and na matom na fi we cement wide. San dan me say you sit down see how we are. You sand the cement san kan ho bia. Dan na yes ho awie no. You to cement man. Because chrono say obi e de ope. And because the very people mo de say dan na man han ya the same politicians adodo na awie sika asisi adan e o East Legon na se for no. That is how they rent it out. That is the same way. What the dan na was sit down no. Sa masi dan 40 wo East Legon man yon na ma said dwuma mu dia no
masi dan
40 wo East Legon omo no man apartment or the mawa na wa 3 years advance
Elon Musk na
asim for so Elon Musk or the mawa na wa 3 years advance enti sikapudu on ho enti mra no they will not enforce it Now some year Bekano. What are some American?
That's right.
And many of them, that is how they do. Is the reason why this thing. Nobody want to push it through. But for me, I think that
the government has to push it.
President Mahama will have to be bold enough this time round. Because you see, me say governance and you don't go above be asu ngurem so kind ba na hu implement you. Just I won't go urem my idea. You don't know anything about governance. Common sense. You look at society's immediate problems.
Okay.
I have affected a larger number of people.
And then you solve it.
You solve it. It's solved. And at the end of the day, no, you'll be remembered. There was a time. Men and Nabi, or Rollins are some to the sense that Nessa Rollins is babaki be more, but do you know why? Nany who Rollins dao, and they back up. Sa interstate succession law, no.
That's right.
Who knew one a pam of man in your free, or by an Sa Dianaka.
And that's succession law of 1985,
yes.
right?
That law alone. So Rollins is babaki be a man. She doesn't care what Rollins did. Or fan so no kuno she doesn't care. All she cares is say Rollins the Marabi baye. Ni kunu ye because the husband was rich. The family people were gauging say papa no ye mapamo mu nyina afifie. But that law saved her. Be sin ne on ma enya ba bi tena be sin ne. Just a government policy. They didn't need money.
That's right.
They didn't need money. So when already
government policy to we be good banks. Ghana for control.
That is why I say
Ivan, someone up and then come right.
Me budget see the crowd my push here for baby. So Alaska, I think say it's very very important. Sir, Babia, the way manner things are going, you know. I think the finance minister and the economic front, you know, the gentleman has really done well.
Very well.
Seriously.
And you see, there are a man for one name in China say, oh, yeah. Now, bring bien who are within 4 months. Obey to me, 6 months to me, yama this changes. I am near more much say, and I say, hey, Alaska. As old Tim Betina buy more 8 years now for 1 month. Now, Koreans and will be a bit different for so. And they're not who.
Because Coco could know your one friend is Abruabedi.
Alaska. So, what Tim Betina, Korea so for 8 years. Now when you policy back cry mana within 8 years when you some for so now Korea. Alaska the change then Ninja has to do with this. One thing has to do with this your friend say gold board way. And gold board alone. Gold board is just a small part of it. Because gold board, you know. IMF secure your model my 3 years in 3 billion.
Yeah.
For 3 years so IMF for IMF you I 3 billion oh. Gold board within 6 months at me generated $5 billion. So which means Sika o Chrome ha. Make a choice Sika Ghana wono. Sa fianga country Europe. Obi any half o. Yeah near my ya.
That's right. But just Sika no ekogu
among for bottom. Because IMF bedi atemotwi anim am 3 billion for just 3 years. Not within 6 months. Gold I had to talk to the carbon timber to it mean 5 billion within 6 months.
And the one in the Ejapa, Omu your Madrid Sanko, Omu no bebe boy Busia. Nanka says when Akwamu one you to Tamaria Silver say. So
say Bank of Ghana a lot of forex.
That's right.
And now we see Chroma man for dollar short call him fan. Do you know why I'm for that propaganda no? This is what is happening. First, you know. Now I am very easy. Me wo 10,000 Ghana cedis. Ewo Ghana fia. Me tama na me the bank. Me say me per dollar. Because and say bia ni ho. Na yesesa ma me kwa. Na ma ko bie me wardrobe na me de asase ye. Na ma say kopa another your friend say another cedis. Na ma say kwa another bank. Na ma so people were taking the dollars from the bank. On fan kwaye business on fan kwaye hwe no da kogu ni dem
adakoma abochi
no on fan abochi for them no abochi then they get the money from the banks.
Okay
ono da kogu ni mpase and this a dollar na ye 11 cedis and now or can you do 15 cedis no cost san we nyam fa so over be 400 million.
Okay
because we need $10,000 go them na say dollar aye 10 cedis na say el code do 15 cedis a wonya adwuma wonya hwe we nyam fa so 500 million 50,000 Ghana cedi flat. A big business among for you no Chroma saying. And that's what they were doing. Or Tam City not call bank no. They say Bank of Ghana say Obiba Bank say or $1 make it sure say or import it ana o tu kwan okura passport and visa bibia bo match say because what kroma you need dollar okroma what the dollar here then
okay that's right
so that is why people are crying say dollar short ko he for Bank of Ghana reserves omo no enye sika ketwa na egu ho
that's right
within this short period the gentleman has been able to accumulate over $2.11 billion and egu ho our Bank of Ghana yeah, obudi bi share your friends the forest market no kra and say IMF for you they say dem you know sika ho so it's not as $6 but among for paid do this nefarious activity
and you reasons no and you convincing
yes. So the only reason abetimi akọ dollar ko obetimi akọ bank akọ withdraw dollar na say met Ghana me ya adwuma for an American company my BA forest account the American company pay me into my dollar account or Ghana. When I go to the bank to withdraw, dollar na minti na buy, so meet me.
Okay.
Min kon kost sa dollar. And I made a Kugu bank. And I say, Mako be a dollar account. And I made a dollar no free chrome hand and the Kwakogum, Dabi. And now we are Sakra Wumi amount. Because you want Ben away, I will pay dollar account. You need to. So I obi away, you my influence, you frabon timber.
And the leakages, you know, and now one blocking.
That is no more blocking. And now I'm for a dollar. And I'm because you see the communication, you know, sometimes I have problem.
Exactly.
Some of these things. Oh, Radde.
I'm
finish on the budget.
Okay.
So Alaska budget, you know. Kumasi, your friends to Accra. Road now down from Kufuor Penso Afibio Biaba and Obayefano. President Mahama so by expressway.
Okay.
A new road I tre your friend is saying. And yes, what can I go? Who is over the years, you know? Oil na yet to know Ghana will some fast wo. The only sika Ghana for big investment I knew from oil. Investment na atobo gas na President Mahamadu oil sika ye. And na melse so ye bi. Nko for e buy. Omba eno muko bie sa mef no sa mineral we no muko be sika na ko honya besi no hwehwa wu ene na sky trainer ya fe se birum gina jail no omugina court no so sa mef no e ho no mu de sa sika ni nyina kogu no mu didi nsemu no President Mahama say offense ya fe say all the oil money so every and the oil money ni nko ba bia ya the infrastructure that is the big push na oil no they say we identify major road across the country. Every single major road bia what Ghana bia is captured. Sikano from the oil money ni baba yes including the Kumasi Express Highway.
And the source of funding no.
Yes, oil money no say enko ba bia biem. E baba yes akwan nti sa Kumasi road no. Sisi amono ka say feasibility study asase o. By September they will be done. Once they finish road na asase no. And several other roads I count all the major corridor roads in the world and I'm told he's coming to build a brand new road.
That's
from
right.
Your friends there is it I'll check and get it for you. So I think there you see the way Mahama shall see if this is how he's going to go I think that he'll go a long way because your friend is saying governance, politics, leadership must always be about so prioritizing the nipa. So we are buying one to me and yes, I near mana Alaska. Ohumba funi nipa and nipa beto about yawo. And say otimi walk the talk and be able to do some of these things. NASA project and as for your market can otimi ya. I know the day people will look at these things and say why are they you understand? And you want about church in semu. Say you know no church in semu. Guano mugo money because omo tansa no mo he niama cost within the 6 months they can't even understand and do better ye na shase o shase ne kwesi sai 8 years ye fan say 8 good years want me anya manyansa de ba kokran happy am wo enjoy wo kwatena fie na niama we happen and there are things abetimi atresi I say ye big problem aye sika na ye de amamfo na
that's right.
Yeah, me better na catch us. I will structure our mommy never to an apple. Okay, so I will never tell you so. I said next year, I will be do. Don't forget to say your friends say DDP payments and I buy us here this year.
That's right.
But you see, the gentleman has been smart enough. Say sinking fine now, sinking fund. President Mahama bought one Bawumia musika no. the gentleman has brought it back. Was so sika gum.
That's right.
Ebi no di tia DDP for a week. And the ever mature at the chie August. Sika ho di ba betua. And was here the same thing next year. A kana Ghana eba betua for that deferment no mo ye no. Or the sika gum. Say we do next year no. Now we need 20 billion now they kwakusia. This is a smart guy. Oh yeah nema. What you say? So for me, I think that the way they've started no, if it goes like this, trust me, things will be okay.
Right. And that was Ivan Chey Innocent. Me try me huaba. Na me ba. Along the ground cancer. Funny. Na messages in ba na ba.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.